What's going on, Jerome's? So it just feels like it's so close, huh? All right, so Vikings veterans are reporting today and tomorrow. First team practice is on Wednesday. Talk about practice, and the Vikings begin their training camp for 2023. Looking to hoist that Lombardi for the first time in 12 times in the next 10 years, and Kwesi's making transactions. That's right, let Kwesi cook. But nothing too earth-shattering, but a number of roster moves today. Starting at the top, so guard Chris Reed, the veteran, Mankato State University Community College. Placed on the active NFI list, non-football injury. Linebacker Andre Carter was placed on the active PUP list, physically unable to perform. Now's a good time to discuss the difference between the two. So, difference between the PUP and NFL. This is from NFL.com. The physically unable to perform list, better known as PUP, is a designation for players who are physically unable to perform football services due to football-related activities. These players can participate in team activities but are not allowed to practice. Players are placed on the active PUP list during training camp and count towards the team's 90-man roster. Players can be removed from this list at any time during camp, but can't be placed back on the list. Players on the list as of final roster cutdowns must be placed on reserve PUP, which, if they're placed there, they have to miss at least the first 4 games of the season, traded or counted against the 53-man roster. The non-football injury list or illness list, NFI, is similar to the PUP list, but is used for players who suffered injuries or ailments outside of NFL activities. So you got Minka falling off a bike, Jamison Williams and John Mechie III's ACLs in college. Also, that covers Mechie's leukemia diagnosis. Players who begin the season on NFI as a countdowns to the 53 can be activated after the team has played its first 4 regular season games. Now, these NFI and PUP used to be 6. They cut down to 4 to start the 2022 season. And again, the difference is, where did the injury take place? If it took place during an NFL activity, whether it's a game from before or practice, OTAs, off-season workouts at the facility, they're on the PUP list. But if not, if it's just working out on your own or even a college injury, you're on the NFI list. Now, that's interesting because of for Andre Carter specifically. So Carter's on the PUP list, meaning that his injury occurred on NFL property during NFL time. So whether it be practice, OTAs, whatever, it happened as an NFL player. Now, with Carter, he was dinged up his senior season at Army. He just wasn't the same player as he was his junior year, and his production suffered, as well as he didn't look good at the Senior Bowl. He had a lingering hamstring issue, which cost him at the Combine, and a lot of people just wrote off as like, oh, yeah, he can't play. But the kid's been dinged up for a while, but it's interesting that they put it as a PUP as opposed to they could easily put it down as NFI, so that's something to keep an eye on. And then Chris Reed, NFI, he got hurt not playing football or working out off-site, sort of is what it is. But again, both these guys can come off at any point. But it is a good idea for teams to sort of hedge their bets because, again, you can't put players on it after you start a training camp. And if you want players to potentially be on the season NFI or PUP, they have to be on the preseason NFI or PUP. And then they waived non-football injury wide receiver Malik Knowles. So Knowles is our guy, man. So Kansas State, UDFA, great kick returner, solid receiver, and he's listed as NFI again. So NFI, not NFL injury related. So he's probably still dinged up a little bit from the college season, but he was designated with an injury designation. So if and when he passes through waivers, he'll revert to the Vikings injured reserve, and they'll keep him in the sphere there. And then they signed veteran tight end Colin Thompson, who spent the last 3 years with the Panthers, 2 of them with a current Vikings tight ends coach, passing game corner Brian Angelicio. There's a full video on him on the channel that was out this morning. And then Zach Snyder. That's right, the Snyder cut, baby. Woo! Also, he needs to wear. He looks a little bit like Richie Incognito right there, but he needs to wear the dark visor. That should be a must. Like, it should almost be mandatory for NFL players to wear dark visors or mirror tinted visors, man. But Jack Snyder, 26 years young, he's 6'5", 310, San Jose State. He was a 4-year starter at left tackle. He was actually the Mountain West Player of the Year for Pro Football Focus in 2020, where he was just a monster, 90.9 PFF grade, 0 sacks, 4 pressures, just a road grader in the run game. He's a 2022 UDFA, was in preseason camp with the Rams, played in 2 preseason games, 82 snaps, and then eventually he made his way to the XFL, Houston Roughnecks, where he started 9 games at guard. So does have some tackle guard flexibility, and it's a good idea for the Vikings to add some offensive line depth. Like we said, teams generally like going into camp with 15 players on the O-line, so that's important. Also note that it's very important that Brian O'Neill was not placed on the PUP list. So that means he's going to be good to go right away. Good to see, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings Monday transactions and moves. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.